On today's podcast, I had Grant Navarre on, and Grant has a lot of cool things happening. First off, he is a YouTuber with over 100,000 subs. He's a real estate investor with over 65 units. He's also developing an entire subdivision, which we talk about. And his first flip on the subdivision didn't go too hot, so you guys are definitely going to want to listen to that, as well as running a big car dealership. This guy was making over $300,000 at a very young age, and he used all of that car dealership money to buy real estate. It's pretty cool to hear about his journey as an investor and as an entrepreneur. We also talk about other opportunities he's explored, like a juice bar. This guy is kind of like me. He just cannot stop starting businesses, and we talk about what it's like running a juice bar and other things. So it was a really fun interview. I love interviewing entrepreneurs, and I think you guys are going to enjoy this one. So with that being said, let's jump into it. Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where our mission is to invest,
I only expect to make money in things that I understand.
innovate,
It's about believing in the future and thinking that the future will be better than the past.
and inspire. I am much more likely to hit my goal just due to putting it out there.
You're now rocking with the best.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Ryan Pineda Show. Today, I've got a real estate investor, car salesman. I've got a YouTuber. This guy's doing everything. I've got Grant Navarre. What's up, man?
Hey, man, how you doing?
It's good to have you, man.
You as well.
So you're here in Vegas, man, and, you know, anytime someone comes to Vegas, they got to stop by the studio and say what's up. So it's good to have you.
I'm very happy to be here, yeah.
Yeah, man. So we were just chatting off screen, and it seems like you're like me. You got a lot of crap going on.
Very, very, very similar. I watch all the things you do, and I would say very similar.
Tell me about, like, what you got going on right now.
So I'm building the newest thing I'm doing. I've been in real estate for a very long time, since I was 18. And the newest thing I'm doing, new things freak me out, right? You dive in. I'm telling you, it's my favorite thing to watch about you. You're like, you know what? I'm going to start this. And I'm just like, I got to learn to do that. So hopefully during this, I can pick that up. But I'm building a subdivision. So it's the first time I've ever done that. And build and sell. I normally build and keep. And every time I've ever sold, I've always been very, very upset that I sold it, right? It's weird that everybody says that, but it's true. Like when you sell it, you're like, oh, should have kept that duplex.
Yeah.
And so I'm doing build and sell real estate. I bought a subdivision, and it was already finished. Concreted lots.
Nice.
Not concreted lots, concreted subdivision. The lots were actually already padded. And so I picked them up from a seller that didn't want to do it anymore.
How many lots is it?
It was 18. And so I've been doing it since 2020. And so here we are. It was late 2020. Here we are now. We've built 6.
Oh, nice.
And I've turned them into content for the channel, too. It's kind of fun. You get to see a house in 3 videos, and it's 6 months of work for sometimes 7, and it turns into it. But, yeah, building a subdivision. And it's rewarding. There was one time where we almost lost money because the materials and everything went crazy while I was building. But that part, I said, if I have to give it away and I lose money, at least I get my feet wet in a hot housing market, even if materials are as high as gas prices.
Yeah, so let's talk about the subdivision. So you got 18 lots. What'd you pay for it?
So I paid $40,000 a lot. I think that's $720. Is that wrong?
Okay,
or right?
$720. And where's this at?
Lake Charles, Louisiana, where I'm from.
Lake Charles.
It's
okay.
it's actually in Carlos, which is just across the bridge. But yeah.
Okay. So you pay $40,000. What'd you build these houses for? How big are they?
So we're building, and that's where it's been kind of crazy. So I had to do a learning experience, right? I like when I make mistakes. To not be a mistake, to be more of a learning experience. That way I don't
lesson,
make it again, right? And if you learn from it, it sucks, but it sucks less. And so we were building them from 1,700 square foot and up. But when you do that, the garage and the back patio and then the amenities and the price increases of everything eat up the profit. So that's where I almost lost money. We made $4,000 on a house after 7 months of work, and I was like, everyone's fired? No, it's fine. I'm learning. You're learning. Let's all not hug. Don't touch me. I got to go. Right? And it got better. But now 2,200 square foot is the minimum house I'll build. So everything's kind of a long story with me, but I'm trying to just kind of give you the rundown.
What are these? And by the way, for those of you who don't know, when you're building, it gets cheaper as you build, right? Like the foundation costs what it costs. The kitchen costs what it costs, so you got these kind of hard costs that, to go build more bedrooms or more loft doesn't really cost you that much money, but to go from 1,700 to 2,200 can make a huge difference on price. And obviously you kind of figured that out as you went along.
Yep. And it was things I was already concerned about, but my builder was like, I got
It'll
this.
sell.
But no one realized how lumber and everything. I mean, it was nuts. It was absolutely nuts. So, but yeah, so the number, and this is, you might like this because it's always cool to talk about real estate in different areas. For a half-acre lot, which is very, very large lot, even where I'm from, still big.
Huge here in Vegas.
Huge, yeah. And so here, and so I'm building for like, with the 2,200 square foot, 165 a foot, 170 a foot, depending on how custom they go, and that's including the land and everything. So like 325. 325 is about what we build for.
Okay, 325, and what are you selling them for?
That's what. Yeah, that's.
Oh, that's the end
Right,
price.
yeah.
So what are you pretty much all in for on those?
So I haven't shared this on my channel, but I've done a lot of thinking about it because I need to talk to you about some of these things because I worry about oversharing profits because if I'm sharing what I built it for in the equity, I don't care, it's mine. But if I sell you a house, I'm gonna be like, yeah, bro, I just made 50 grand. Like it feels rude. So
You know,
it's a fine line.
Yeah, and I've thought about this too, especially because I typically will do a video while it's on the market in an escrow.
Sure.
And I'll be like, yo, if it sells for this, I'm going to make this.
I
And
like that idea.
I've also had, people actually come to our agent and be like, yo, I saw what he's making on this. And I've seen people comment like, hey, I bought this house. Like that's happened. But it is what it is. Like at the end of the day, it also doesn't take like a rocket scientist to go look and see what I bought it for and be like, dang, this dude's about to make some good money.
Right.
So I don't know. I just don't really care. And honestly, if a buyer gets mad that I'm making money, I don't really care. Like freaking don't buy the house. What else are you going to buy?
Especially right now.
Yeah. Like,
and that's the thing. I always try to, I over worry. But so basically right now, the worst profit I've made, and it was 7 months. Like I said, it was like $3,800.
Right.
And it still burns me thinking about it, but it's that learning lesson, right? And it is what it is. But right now we're making about 35 to 45,000 a house. So
okay. So you're making about 12 to 15%.
Flips are better. Flips are better.
Well, I've debated about this with developers and everyone else because I've actually looked into doing not entry-level development like that, but to doing luxury development.
Sure.
Like building $3-4 million homes that we could potentially go make $1 million on. Like that's, for me, like something I'd be interested in. I think it'd be great content in building just pure luxury homes.
Absolutely. I saw a video that you did not too long back, and they were like, we're going to make a possible $1 million on this house. I was like,
yeah. So, yeah, we just had one go under contract that I just filmed. I don't even think I've released the video yet, but I think we're going to make about $400K on that one. So nice luxury flip. So I really like that in today's market because when you think about the market appreciating, when a luxury house goes up 15%, it goes up hundreds of thousands versus, 15 grand.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it's just a thing now where I've always feared luxury, but now with today's climate, I'm like, dude, this is like where real money's at. But to your point on these entry level ones, I'm curious what you could have rented them for because you said you were building them to sell from the beginning. What would these ones be rentable for?
So if you were going to rent them, and I don't rent anything that new or that nice. I mean, I rent things that are apartments that are that new and that nice, but I would say you'd have to find a business person looking to rent for like $3,500 to $4,000 in my market, which is pretty high comparable to what.
Dude, that's a lot.
Yeah. So I mean, that's what
somebody's going to pay $3,500 for a 2,200 square foot house.
So we have casinos, we have big industry work where I'm from, and so yeah, they'll go and they'll pay $25 for a small one, but for a house like that, big backyard, really nice. It's a spec, but I guess I could call it a custom spec because it's really still very nice.
Bro, I would have kept that entire subdivision at those numbers. Because like for us, if I were to have built that, say I'm all in for 300, right? And I don't even know if I could be all in for 300 at 2,000 square feet, but let's just say I am because our land here is more expensive.
Yeah.
But let's just say I was like, it would still maybe rent for, I don't know, 2,000, 2,500. Like it's tough.
Our market has and I've looked at this because we have a mutual friend, Graham, and I kind of talk with him about this stuff. And over here, because I want a place that I could maybe just stay, but then I also enjoy the casino to stay there. It's nicer, it's easier. But like I've looked at maybe doing Airbnb or doing something like that just to see and try my hand at it. But I have a house, to kind of give you an example. It's about a $250,000 house. It's in Lake Charles, which is a nicer place than Sulphur. It's just in town, right, versus out of town. And so that one I rent for $2,000 a month. And so it's got a garage. It's a 3-bedroom house. It's 1,600 square feet. So, 500 square feet less. Our market does just bring a lot more because we're also next to Texas and all the industry and all the rest. So
Yeah.
our rents are as high as Texas.
So what was that house renting for?
Which one? The one that I just told you?
Yeah.
2,000.
2,000. Yeah.
I rent it to one of my managers at the dealerships.
Yeah. No, super cool, man. So, I mean, you got a lot going on with real estate, and you said you got about 65 units right now along with that.
I'm finishing which, the subdivision is something fun to talk about. It's definitely not the hook of what I do because it's something, it's new, right? So it's exciting. It's my new baby, right? And so I'm finishing up a 21-unit complex, which still might not be, what you do. You're doing big stuff, but this is still just me 100% just grinding out, trying to build my little real estate portfolio. And the next one, I've got the land. That was a pretty cool deal. I got the land to build 38 more. So I'll be doing that next. And
Oh, that's
it'll
cool.
take
So
me about a
you're
year.
building 21. You're going to build 38 next to it.
Not next to it. So the 21, it's the land that I bought. It was a developer who was getting out of it and had all kinds of, issues,
Right.
to say the least. You know how contractors will get a little over their heads. And so I bought it from him. When I bought it, it was a 4-plex. With the land to build 16 more units.
Yep.
And so then we've kind of finished it out. Right now, I built 3 bedrooms in the back, and then now I've got 2 bedrooms, just 8 row of 8, 2 quads, 4 quads total, 5 quads total, sorry. And so you have that, and, it's just kind of fun where they'll be finished.
And you're
going
going to keep that.
Yeah, I keep mostly everything besides the subdivision. And I bought the subdivision. I didn't want to. My contractor was like, when I took him to us, hey, you should buy this. And he was like, you should buy this. And so we made a partnership on that.
Oh, that's cool, man.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, what does the 21 unit look like cost-wise, and what's going to cash flow?
So I guess, could I pause for a second and do the math? Because I built them at separate times, or it just kind of rolls.
Yeah,
less
dude, I don't
edits.
need the exact numbers, dude. I'm just like...
So I'm building, still kind of have to do the math. So I'm building the one I finished last. I built for $766,000 without land.
Okay.
I bought the project for $650,000, and then the other one I'm building is right at $8 million. So that's 1.5. That's 2.1, 2.2.
2.2, you're all in for that 21?
All in. And then the reason it's 21, because that's only 20 units. There's a 4-plex that was already there that he had already sold.
Oh.
And I bought 1 unit in it because everybody else paid way too much. So I'm not going to bail them out of their issue. So.
Right. That's cool, man. And that thing's cash flowing good now.
Oh, yeah. Now the other 8 aren't finished.
Right.
But the other ones are, and so it does really well.
Yeah.
And then it appraises for, 3.5. So extra $1 million never hurts.
Oh, man. I'll take $1 million. Whoever wants to give me it, I'll take it. So, you mentioned, you've been in real estate since you were 18 years old, right? Man, I can't even fathom that. I was a young dude just trying to play baseball. So, what did your journey start like? You're in real estate. Where'd you even get the money?
So the best part about real estate's, like stocks. If I want, $100,000 worth of stocks, I go put $100,000 in, right? With real estate, you got leverage. So I've always been actually kind of funny. You ever heard of Advocare, the supplement company? So when I was 16 years old, I started selling it. I was like the top 3 little Advocare salesperson in the nation.
Is it like an MLM?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
got
so
it.
they had a bowl game for a little while. I think they got in some trouble. But it's have you ever heard of Spark, right? The energy drink Spark.
Yeah.
That was the red thing I was drinking when I walked in. And so I'm still drinking it now.
You're still loyal.
Yeah, it's product loyalty right there.
Right.
And so anyway, I had done really well with that and saved up some money. I made like $80,000 for 2 years when I was selling Advocare. It was really cool.
Yeah.
I had a sales team at my high school.
Mm-hmm.
Had a sales team at another high school. I'd bring them to my
These
house.
boys are just hustling.
And I would pay them cash. I would pay them cash for their sales. But anyway, I had saved up a lot of money. I was also selling cars. Made $75,000 my first year selling cars. It was really
Just you weren't flipping cars. You're just a car salesman.
yeah, car salesman at a dealership. Yep.
Okay.
And the dealership I'm still at, right? And so, long story short, I had been a service advisor, selling Advocare, all the other things, and then I was a car salesman. And so they averaged out my income. I still had the same 2-year job history, and they gave me a loan for some reason. I had a limited credit score because I had financed a hot tub, and some other stuff. Like that.
If you're listening to this podcast, then my guess is you're interested in real estate investing. Some of you are just starting out, while others are trying to scale their business to the next level. But the problem is, with so much information out there, most people don't know which program or coach to trust. Well, I'm a bit biased, but I believe my company, Future Flipper, can help you get to the next level. We've coached thousands of students from all over the world on how to build their real estate investing business. It doesn't matter whether you want to flip, wholesale, or buy rentals. Our coaching program has everything you need to become a great investor. There are many things that we include with coaching, but to give you a few examples, you're going to get an accountability coach. These are people that have had success in their own business, and they want to make sure that you achieve success in yours. We also have all of our documents, our systems, and processes that I've used to buy hundreds of homes. You can copy and paste them directly into your own business. And we have events where you get to meet me, top-level guest speakers, and other students who are crushing it. My students do deals with each other, and I personally do deals with them too. In fact, at a recent event, I just honored over 20 people in our program that made over $1 million in the last year. So if you want to grow your real estate business, head over to futureflipper.com and apply for a call with our team. The call is completely free, and they can help point you in the right direction whether you work with us or not. So go to futureflipper.com and book your call today. For the last year, the real estate market has been on absolute fire. Prices are at all-time highs, interest rates are at all-time lows, and there is more money in the economy than ever. But with so much competition, many investors are sitting on cash, struggling to find great deals. If this sounds like you, then you need to invest with Pineda Capital. With my network and social media following, we get access to the best real estate deals all over the country. And if you're an accredited investor, you can invest with me on those deals. In fact, last year we purchased a 334-unit apartment complex in Georgia for almost $20 million. We expect it to be worth well over $30 million when it's all said and done. Our goal with each deal is to build in so much equity from the beginning that we're able to refinance our investors' cash out and own the properties together with little to no money into the deal. And the best part is, you don't have to do anything. Our team will find the deals, handle the renovations, get them leased, and eventually refinanced or sold. All you have to do is provide the capital. So if you want exclusive access to our deals before they hit the public, go to PinedaCapital.com to schedule a call. We can put your money to work today to start getting you great returns. So go to PinedaCapital.com now to get access to our deals. So, obviously you're selling cars, you're, doing that supplement company. I mean, how old are you now? You're 32?
32.
Same age. Yeah. So, the last 14 years, what have you been doing?
Pretty fun job in the car business. I'm actually the director of 11 car dealerships. And so what happened was, got promoted after 4.5 years of sales, became a finance manager, broke every record that company ever had, built up a lot of money. By the time I was 24, I was making about $320,000, $350 a year. So pretty big incomes at young ages.
Yeah, I can't even imagine that.
And I made that at 22-ish, but I was like 250 then. So it's still really cool to think about. And I bought my first half of a duplex when I was 18. And
partnered up with somebody?
No, it was just that was the one I told you about, half of a duplex, right? Huh. And I bought it from my brother. I've got a very successful family that I've got to learn from their mistakes and their wins. And he comes to me. I paid $96,000 for this duplex for one unit, right?
Right.
And he comes to me and says, "Hey, you gonna buy the other one?" I was like, "I don't think I can." Like he's like, "I'll sell it to you for a good deal." I was like, "I like deals. What's the deal?" And he's ripped me off my entire life. Like he's 8 years my elder. So he's like, "Do you want this laptop? How much money you got in the bank?" And I'm like, "I think I want that laptop." And he would just, I learned at an early age to learn how to negotiate. And so what he goes, "I'll sell it to you for 80." And all that registered in my brain was, my brother ripped me off again. This is the last time it's ever going to happen. And so not that he ripped me off, but he made his profit, $96,000. He sold me the exact same unit for 80. So I'm like, you know what? Before I say yes to this, because I appreciate the fact that he's at least trying to unload it on me for a better deal, let me go see what a duplex would cost to build. And so I built a duplex down the street for $173, and I was going to live in it. So I had like a tiled shower. I was balling at 19 years old. I was super thrilled in my house hack, right?
Right.
And so long story short, rented one side, lived in the other side, and I was house hacking before house hacking was cool, or at least before I saw it on YouTube.
Right.
Should have had a channel then, right?
Dude, if you had a channel then,
I'd have 200,000 subscribers.
Be double as famous.
Right. Yeah.
So, you're progressing up the ladder. You're selling cars, you're buying real estate with pretty much what you're making from the car business, correct?
Yeah.
You're house hacking. What else am I missing? Like, it's just repeating that over and over again?
Yeah. I'm in the stock market, all the typical things. And then I also own some juice shops. They do well, but they have a lot
why
of
do you own
employees.
juice shops?
My cousin developed it, and I drove by, and it was Main Squeeze Juice Company. I'm like, man, that looks like a pretty cool franchise that's come to Lake Charles. I went inside. I loved the concept, and my cousin was like, hey, I heard you went by Main Squeeze. I was like, yeah, dude, what developer built that? What investor brought that here? He goes, I created it. I'm like, he's really good at branding. Always has been. He's got like a fix my phone business, and he made his first web-based business at 25, sold it for $4 million. Dude's a rock star.
Dang.
A rock star. And so anyway, and at 25 nonetheless. And so anyway, bought it, got excited about it. The only issue is I have 12 employees per store, and right now employees are tough, and the stores do great, but it's stressful for my general manager always to have to go find employees and do things.
Yeah, the turnover in those kind of industries is so high.
Yeah, and like people don't realize, they're like, well, we'll pay them more. Well, and I do. I pay them well more than minimum wage and all the things like that. And my team leads make $11, $12 an hour, and they're in high school. And yet, when they hear the real number, like, well, why not? I'm like, my payroll's $16,000 a month, folks, and they're like, oh, why is it so high? I'm like, because you can't do math. That's the problem. And so my payroll is over 26%, 20% of my bottom line. So it just becomes harder,
Right.
And as everything, you have to hire them in higher rates, and it makes it profit smaller. So juice shops are fun and all, but it's tough.
Well, what's funny is all my businesses none of them have minimum wage workers or anything, and I've thought about this because I'm like, okay, like the businesses I have are pretty high caliber people, and so all of them know they can move up in the company, they have room to grow, they're set. Like I want them to want to be better, and I want to be able to give them a way to develop through the company, and even if they stay in their same role, incentivize them in a way that if they can help the company make more money, they make more money. But, there's a lot of businesses where it's just not possible. Like the juice kid, he's got to make what he's got to make. And nobody should want to be the cashier at the juice stop forever. So it's like,
it's an entry-level position.
Yeah. So
College.
at some point he's going to leave, and he's looking to leave. Like it's just a matter of when. So I don't know, man. I'm like, man, do I ever want to deal with the headache of dealing with that type of employee versus what I have now? It's a lot of work.
It is, and I love my staff to death, and they know that. It's just it's just a common sense problem to talk about, because it's like, they turn over, and the funny thing is they get tips. So like they make like $3 an hour more per tips. So I've had some leave me for 50 cents, and they call me like, I'm making less. I'm like, because I tried to. All right. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough, and it's, but regardless, it's something I started doing in 2019 just as, and if I lost money at it, it was almost okay, because it would be a write-off. But the headache of it makes it less okay.
Yeah. So. Yeah. I've heard of, I've been at these masterminds, and one of these guys has like this what's it called? SIE or
SIE, yeah.
Yeah, like,
I may be saying it wrong as well.
I don't know how to say it the right way, but it's like these acai bowls, and
we sell them too.
I guess they're doing really good, and he's like getting all these guys to do franchises, and like, I'm talking these really high level entrepreneurs, and they're like, yeah, I own 5 of them. This guy's like, yeah, I own a bunch of them, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, even if they make money, I don't want to deal with these stupid juice bars, and like, I want to go like make things that I know for sure like can make tens of millions of dollars. Like that's
sure.
I'd rather just have my eggs in those baskets, and like, NFTs and buying apartments, and that's what I want to do.
Yeah, I don't disagree with you. The reason I did it was I bought the rights to I have 8 rights, but I was planning on going with 10. If they're all making $100,000 a year, which they do, but then I would be making an extra $1 million. So it was the thought process behind it. And it was just something I got excited about. When you get excited, you do
anything.
And by any way, shape, or form, I don't regret it. I still love it. It gives me something to drive to Texas for, and they're all in Houston, my shops, and it's fun. But yeah, real estate is by far my favorite thing. So.
What about car sales?
Great.
You love sales?
Yeah, always have. Yeah.
Yeah. Man, every time I get a car guy on, I'm like, tell me about the car market, dude, because it's ridiculous. It's still ridiculous.
We can absolutely talk about that, right? So, basically, your used car is worth gold, right? If you didn't know, especially if it's low miles and it's something desirable, right?
Right.
It's crazy. So I'll give you one example. If we want another one, we can do another one. But like we talked about Escalade, because you just got one, and so people are selling these things at crazy prices over sticker, and used prices are absolutely astronomical. So like
the used cars are more than the new cars.
Crazy. So let's talk about a premium luxury, right? So premium luxury without boards, you're looking at about $83,000. And like I told you earlier, that vehicle used with me buying it, not with a customer buying it. It's $105,000 is what I'm trading for them right now. And they got like 10, 11,000 miles on them. So it's insane.
I saw that because they're like, yeah, I got this used one. I'm like, I am not paying 15 grand over MSRP for a used one. Like, there's a new one somewhere. First off, I don't even want to pay over MSRP, but if I were to do that, it better be new.
Yep. It's crazy. It's crazy. And I drove one for a week and I was like, I'm going to put it back because it was $105,000 on a vehicle. It's worth $83,000. And I'm just like, I don't buy anything that doesn't make sense. I like things to make sense. And I like to be a caretaker of that item until I sell it for either a profit or a smidge of a loss. I don't like to buy Breitling. I'll buy Rolex because it holds its value better, right? So I wanted it. I got excited and I slept on it, of course, and didn't pull the trigger. So.
Yeah, I like the Rolex you got there, man. Blues. Yeah. I love blue.
Yeah.
I think they're the same one, but I got black, you got blue.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Great watch.
I might have to go buy one. I like that.
Hey, I can get you the hookup on that too.
There we go, baby.
Those are also extremely expensive right now.
Oh, I know. I've never bit the bullet more on paying over, MSRP than last year because up to last year, I was doing well in business, but
sure, I've
always been frugal. I'm like, I ain't buying a nice car. Like, I don't need it. I don't need a watch. I never had a watch until last year. And, my dad actually gave me this Rolex, and so that was cool. My very first, luxury watch. And then, I have all these guys on the podcast. They're like, dude, you need an AP. And I was like, okay, I'll get
a good one though.
Yeah, I was like, I'll get one. And so I found a really nice black and blue one, and I saw MSRP was 35 grand. And I start calling around, and they're like, yeah, no, like it doesn't exist. Like you can't even get it, even if you wanted it. So I started looking on eBay, and these things are like 50 grand. And I'm like, dude, really? And, sure enough, as it evolved, I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting this for MSRP. And like getting it alone is like a tough thing.
Yeah.
And so,
like we talked about Escalades.
Yeah.
So they all take forever.
Dude, out of the blue, my jeweler, shout out to Gabe from Happy Jewelers. Multiple people connect me with him, but out of the blue, I finally messaged him after like we were talking for months. I was like, you know what, dude, I'm ready to bite the bullet and just, if you can find this exact watch, I will buy it.
I just want it. I've done well.
I'll
time to treat myself.
I'm over it. Like, whatever. And I was like, just get me it cheaper than what I see on eBay. At the time, it was like $55K on eBay. It just kept going up. I watched it go up and up. And he goes, dude, funny you text me today. And he sends me a pic. He's like, I just got this in today. And I was like, okay, so like when do I fly down and get it? And so I got it. And he actually gave me a really good deal. And I think he got the deal out of it because I did a video there. And the YouTube video did good, but one of the TikToks got over 9 million views. Nice. And so I think he made his discount back pretty easily.
I would say so. Yeah. Funny story on watches. So I'm a big fan of watches. Always have been, right? Me and Graham also, now that you like watches, when I get something cool, I'll shoot it over to you. And I had a rose gold Sky Dweller, right? I don't know if you're familiar with the rose gold Sky Dweller, but
I've heard of it.
It's the Cadillac of the Rolexes without going like the crazy stuff. And so I had that. I had a rose gold Daytona. I'm a fan of rose gold, apparently, right?
Yep.
And so then I had a Batman, right? So those were those three, and then I had a couple other ones that were a little less expensive. I sold my watch collection, right, when everything went crazy, because I'm a caretaker of these items, no matter how much I like them. I don't love things. I don't have to have them, but I enjoy it, right? And so anyway, this is the first. Oops, sorry, I keep hitting the mic. The first Rolex I've had in about 9 months because I just bit the bullet and bought another one. Like it said the same thing, and I sold them all. Made 80 grand last year just by selling the watches. And the answer is like, why did I do that? Because I thought the market would eventually come back. Here we are 2 years later.
It kept going up.
And and actually what I've heard is my Daytona is probably worth like, I sold it for 43 and it might be worth like 52. It was an 09, but still, you know. And I paid 27 for it. So I mean, it was just fun making the profits on them.
Yeah.
But why? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I get it, dude. Sadly, my AP, I dropped it. And I broke the clasp.
Oh.
And so it shows I'm just such a good watch owner. And I sent it back to AP, and they're like, yeah, dude, it's going to be $6,000 to fix. And I'm like, great. So anyways, that's, I am not a good steward of the stuff I have.
Right.
At least according to watches. So, I mean, when do you see this you're in the car business. Like, when do you see this like finally slowing down?
There's not an answer for that. So I just right now the reason I'm here, besides to come hang out with you and a couple other YouTubers, and I was at the NADA conference, right? So we're at NADA, which is the person that has the book, all the rest of it, and you ask that question in every conference that's a manufacturer, and they're like, well,
We don't know.
We don't know. I think it's got to do with an employee shortage. I think it's got to do with a little bit of
Political stuff.
headbutting between countries,
Yep.
because we don't produce anything.
We got a trade war going on.
We need to start producing more, but at the same time, we want $50 an hour to produce it. So there's not the coolest thing about this. There's not really the easy answer, right? It's all very complex, and it's sad, but we do need to produce more here.
Yeah.
So
Well, you know what's interesting, man, is look, I don't like to get political on this show.
sure, no.
But like, you look at what Trump was saying back in like 2016. He is like sounding the alarm on China. He's like, dude, these guys manufacture way too much of our stuff. Like, we're way too reliant. We got to take it back to the States and all this stuff. And then, now you're seeing the consequences of relying on China for everything. The whole world relying on these chips, and now the world is like, can't get anything. And then you see, Russia, everything going on there with gas prices, and they're controlling oil. It's like America used to, manufacture everything. We used to have the best natural energy. Like,
now we're the best customer. So
we're the best customer, and we're at the mercy of the supplier.
I wouldn't even say that's really political. I think that's just a solid statement, because if you rely on other people, let's say that, I rely on you for all my leads. Well, one day you might just want to keep all those leads and sell them yourself, right? It's for instance, in the car business, we've evolved, right? We realize that, we're spending all this money to get cars detailed. Let's open a detail shop. Oh, well, we're sending all these cars out there for mega expensive details when we need to wash them for like $4. Let's open a car wash. All right. Well, we're losing all this business because when you go get an oil change at your local car dealership, it takes forever. So we open this giant quick lube center. So we've done these things to just kind of more in-house it. And like, instead of going and selling accessories at another place, now we do our own stuff. So it's now just a big hub, and the money gets circulated versus going out. So I get what China's doing. I get the fact that it's, I'm sure they could make some chips if we needed them, but
100%, dude.
all the rest of it. I've heard some, you got all your buddies with all the I hear a lot of it, but
Conspiracy theories.
I don't know what to watch and what to listen to anymore.
Well, it's only crazy until they're right.
Yep.
I had this conversation with another guest, and pretty much that's what I said. I was like, dude, I thought these guys were crazy like all these years talking about all this stuff. And then I'm like,
Here we are.
Here we are. They're right. And I'm like, can you keep calling someone crazy if things keep, happening the way that they said? And like, you just see this stuff happen over and over, and you're like, man, there's like an agenda. Like, this is very real.
Yeah. And the number one thing that we need to do as Americans is realize that, we need to be more appreciative. We have McDonald's at every corner. We have all the things that we would possibly want.
Right.
You can have a healthy option, because I just did a video. I remember watching YouTubers that'll say something on their channel, and then people are like, you can't do that, and then they'll go do it, right? Or you'll see something kind of fun, and you want to go see if you can do it. So I said on my channel, like, I cook at home, because I used to be 280 pounds, and I've lost a lot of weight. So I don't know,
dude, yeah, you
I don't know
look
if this
good.
angle shows bad or not, but,
No, you look jacked to me, dude.
Well, I used to work out. I've been fat. I've been in shape. I've been fat. I've been in shape. And this time, I think we heard that before, but keeping it off. But I said on my channel, I was like, I can cook and eat at my house for $30 a week, or I can go out and have a nice steak. And somebody was like, no, you can't. So I made an entire video on how to eat it came out to like $35 in a week for, me to eat at home and meal prep. But people don't, they want the instant gratification. They want the fast food. They want to go wear the fancy stuff when they don't make, crazy amounts of money. And I think we just need to be a little bit more appreciative to the opportunity here. Some people don't even believe the American dream's real. Look at what you're doing.
Yeah.
You got like 13 companies,
Yeah, the American dream is real for anyone who wants to go and take it. And you just got to put the work in. And I think it just comes with belief. Like, do you actually believe you can do this? Or are you going to let society and CNN and Fox News and all this crap tell you that there's all this bad going on in the world, and, there's no way the market's going to crash tomorrow, and inflation's at 8%. I'm like, I don't really give a crap. Like, what's going on? Like,
Just don't get caught with a bunch of inventory. You got to be careful with it. Run lean,
Yeah.
Especially with housing or cars or any big ticket item, you just got to be careful with it.
Yeah, my thing is like, unless you're actually going to do something about it, don't tell me anything. Like, I don't really care, So, yeah, that's my perspective on the news. It's also part of why I don't even do reactions or news, like anything, because I'm just like, I don't really care. I don't watch it. I'm just going to tell you what I do and what works for me, and that's it. As the world starts to go more digital, you need to be aware of which businesses are going to thrive in the future. One of the obvious ones is e-commerce. In fact, last year, e-commerce sales did over $4 trillion globally, and it's continuing to grow. Now, if you're like most people, you probably don't have time to learn a whole new industry and start a new business. But there is another way. You could partner with us at Lunar Ecom. We have over 300 e-commerce stores that we have created and managed for our clients. And the best part is, it's completely passive on their end. The business model is very simple. You cover the cost of creating and running the store. We handle everything else. We pick the products, we handle fulfillment, returns, and customer satisfaction. After all that, we split profits at the end of the month. This means that when you win, we win. If you want to learn more about how it works, you can watch our case study at lunarecom.com. I believe that the e-commerce space is going to continue to explode as the world goes digital. So make sure you're with the right partner who's going to be ahead of those trends. So go schedule a call with my team today at lunarecom.com if you want to learn about how we can start taking your passive income to the moon. Most people want to get rich at all costs. They make sacrifices with their family, their health, and their faith, all in the pursuit of money without even realizing it. But what if I told you it doesn't have to be that way? What if you could grow your wealth in all areas of life? Well, it's possible, and that's why I created The Wealthy Way. It's a community of people striving to grow together in all areas. And we have multiple tools for you to use that are completely free. You can get access to the Wealthy Way Planner, where you can set goals and hold yourself accountable on a daily basis. We also have our Wealth Builder Academy, which is over 4 hours of content teaching you how to manage your time, create the right goals, and all the biggest secrets I've used to grow my life, not only in my net worth, but in all aspects. Lastly, we have our Discord community where thousands of wealth builders are all over the world encouraging one another and growing together. And once again, all of this is completely free. There are no upsells, there are no hidden catches. For me, this is a passion project, and I want to build a community of like-minded people. So if you want to start living the wealthy way today, go to wealthyway.com. There you can get all the free resources like the course, planner, and Discord community. So go to wealthyway.com. But we were talking before, so you just recently got into YouTube, but you're already doing great, man. I mean, you got over 100,000 subs. You just started a few years ago. Like, what led you to get into that?
So I train every person that goes into sales at our store. And so I've always been good with people. I've made 19 managers in my career. It's one of my favorite things I've ever done. So not only do I make good income, and I've made good income since I was younger, but I also have got some other people to go do that either graduated high school with me. 2 people that were actually in my little sales meetings, right, when I was selling Advocare, actually manage for me now. One of them makes $200,000 a year, right? So
in cars?
Yeah, in the car business. So it's awesome to watch people grow.
Yeah.
And so anyway, long story short, it's just fun to do. And I've always said, I'm gonna go make a channel. I don't know how long you said you were gonna do it before you did it. And then I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do it on my phone. Oh, I need a microphone, and I just didn't get to it. And
what year was this?
Oh, I've been saying it probably since I was 24. Right?
Oh, wow. So you were into YouTube, like...
Not really YouTube. I wanted to either do some kind of where I could reach more people, do something. I didn't think that I had the platform. The person that actually got me into it is when I started watching Grant.
Right.
And he's got so many people that say that, right? But truth be told, I started watching him. I binge watched him. And then I'm like, you know what? Grant, you tell people all the time, someday I'll do this, someday I'll do that. It's time to do it. And finally, I got in front of a microphone, got in front of a camera, did it. The first 2 videos I made, I didn't even have a camera. A microphone. I didn't have a camera. I had an iPhone. So I just went out there and I was building the project. And I'm like, you know what? I could turn this into like a vlog, but like an educational vlog. So I became a financial channel. Yeah. And then I do the reactions because, people want to watch that more than they want to watch my stuff on how to make money. So,
Hey, and there's nothing wrong with it. I mean, freaking, these guys are making a killing on reactions. And I should do it if I really wanted to grow more. I'm just like, don't really care.
I react to the things that I'm actually going to watch anyway. So
Right.
instead of, sometimes it'll suck. Like I'll be like, all right, like a Dave Ramsey video comes out and he's like, this is why you shouldn't do real estate. I'm like,
I got to watch this.
I go upstairs, fire up the laptop, and I'm like, all right, guys, here we go. And I'll.
Do you live stream it?
No.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But we are looking at moving into Twitch, looking into moving on to TikTok. I've
Yeah.
got a chance. I just never post anything on it yet. I need to. I've been saying that since it came out too. See what I mean?
You know what's interesting is I would say for me, the only time I truly procrastinated was early on in my life with house flipping. I became a realtor when I was 21. This is back in 2010, and I just didn't know you could flip houses with no money. Like I was just like, yeah, if one day I could flip houses if just somebody would give me money, right? And like I said that for 5 years. And then 5 years later in 2015, I learned that you don't need to get money. Like you can go get hard money loans, you could use credit cards, you can get private lenders, you could wholesale. And I'm like, wow, okay, I'm in. And so like I just dove into it. I maxed out on my credit cards and I was off to the races.
I remember you made a video where you were like, I was tired of letting the people I was representing make all the profits. I think I remember you. I think I'm quoting that correctly.
Yeah, like, dude, I remember it was 2010. Freaking a house that was just built in 08 had sold for like 350 G's. In 2010, it was on the market for 80 grand. 2 years old. It's brand new. Like, you cannot build for 80 grand
No.
at that, even back then. And I remember showing the house. The guy's like, dude, I think, I don't think this is a good deal. And I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I think the market's going to go down. And I go, how? Is it going to be free? Like, what do you think this house is going to cost? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to have to pass on this one. And I was like, I'm over this, dude. One day I'm going to be the investor and I'm going to buy up all these good deals I see once I get money. But I said that for 5 years.
Sure.
But, after 5 years, I finally learned the skill, which I could have learned 5 years previously if I just applied myself. But from there on out, dude, it was always like idea, execute instantly. Like, for YouTube, it was funny, we're sitting in the pandemic and I didn't even know who Graham Stephan was, like, or Meet Kevin. I didn't watch YouTube. And, all these people are like, you should start a YouTube. You should start a YouTube. You got good content. You're doing a lot of stuff. And I said, who do you guys like on YouTube? Who should I like? Who's killing it? And so they send me these guys and I start watching it and I'm like, okay, like, what do they do? Do they flip like all these houses or what? And they're like, no, not really. They just talk about it. And I'm like,
yep.
Okay, that's interesting. So why would I want to do this? And then all of a sudden I see this video that it was either Graham or Kevin made, and they're talking about how they made like 200 grand in 1 month, like from ads. And I go, what? They make that much money from ads? They don't even have to flip houses? This is insane. And so I was like, okay, I'm in. And like literally that day, I bought Graham's YouTube course. I bought other YouTube courses. I literally binge watched every YouTube course I needed. And I was like, okay, I get it. I understand what these guys do with thumbnails. I understand how they clickbait. I understand how to hook somebody in a video, how to keep them engaged, and how to grow. Like, I get it.
Sure.
I'm buying everything. And so I just bought like a camera, a light, and I was like, boom. Like, so I don't know. At this point now, I understand that speed is so important when you do something. The longer you procrastinate, the less likely it is to happen. Like, that's any business.
And then you miss all those years of the growth that you would have had. Even if it sucked for 5 years, it still was better than it is.
Yeah, and you would have learned and gotten better and all that stuff. But also, too, you miss important times where things really get optimal impact. For instance, with this YouTube scenario, the pandemic was literally the best time ever to, like, make content.
Yep.
People were just sitting at home. They had nothing to do. They want to know about the world and like I jumped in at literally the opportune time. Had I jumped in today, wouldn't be as good. Same thing with TikTok. It was just starting out. I said, I think this TikTok thing's pretty important. I'm going to just jump in. If I start today, it's a lot harder. And that's kind of why I see the NFT game right now. I believe that in a couple of years, everyone is going to be like mainstream with NFTs. Like, no doubt about it. It will be so different than it is today. Like, gurus, entrepreneurs, businesses, they're all going to use it regularly. People are going to use it regularly. People know how to get, their wallets set up and all that stuff. They don't know today, but I believe in a few years they will.
I agree.
And for me, I'm like, dude, the time to strike is today. Mm-hmm. This is not like, let's wait a couple years when, the masses, like, it's like, no, it's right now. And so I'm like full force developing everything that we got. So
think it's cool. Yeah, I mean, and I'm still learning digital real estate. Like, I've got some friends that'll tell me about it. They're really smart friends, you know, and it's like, okay, all right, I'm going to learn about it. So it's with me and my assistant, you know.
Bro, we gotta put you guys on game and get you guys
Yeah,
rolling. No more procrastinating.
I'm down.
We're gonna break that cycle, and it's just like boom.
Yep. Because I'll tell you, you say on TikTok, you know, I saw TikTok come out, and I'm like, all right, this is the, you know, I said after Instagram came out, and I made an Instagram like maybe 36 months ago. You know, it's still 3 years, but it was out forever. I was like, I'm not gonna miss the next one, right?
TikTok came,
and I've never posted a video.
Well, okay, but here's what I'll say too. We talked about this off camera. Like, for me, pivoting and jumping into something is much easier now because I've built out infrastructure. I have time, and so like,
and you got a staff.
Yeah, I've got big staff, and so like, if I want to go do something, I have the resources to go do it, and I don't have to worry about babysitting another business because it's going to still run.
Sure.
And you know, one thing we had talked about was, you know, you're trying to get to that point, like. You're doing everything yourself right now. You're building a subdivision. You're selling cars. You're making content. You're managing your portfolio.
Yep.
That's a lot of stuff, dude.
I don't have a property manager. We do it all ourselves. Yep. Collect the rent, and I don't fix the toilets, but we call the people. And so that's where Brett's going to come in and really help me out because it's.
Brett, you're fixing the toilets. Nice, dude.
Well, he actually he's super handy. He does all that. So it was actually whenever I posted looking for an assistant, he was like, hey. And he was already working with me.
He was like,
doing
yo,
some side
I can
maintenance.
film the camera, I can film, and I can fix toilets. Like, whatever you want, I got it.
And he's got a good personality, so it works out great.
He's a pretty cool guy.
Yeah. But but here's another problem with everything we're talking about. You know, like starting today, like, okay, I've got people that'll comment on my channel. I know you have the same. Like, show me how to get a 600% return. I'm like, no, stop it. I'm really worried about some of those things because nobody wants to start like you had to start.
Right.
Selling real estate at 21,
Yep.
selling cars at 18 years old.
Right.
Right. When I was 19, like I said, I built my first duplex. Super pumped about it. But then I kind of procrastinated. I got income drunk. Right. Not as far. I wasn't going and spending the money. I'm so, like I said, I don't like to spend money. It doesn't matter. These days, I'm having a little bit more fun. I'm enjoying myself a little bit more.
Right.
And you know, but what ends up happening is when I built my first, you know, technically complex. Right. It was only 5 units, but to me, it was huge. And then now from 5, 65. And then the last quarter of last year, I bought a house for myself. I'm going to waste all of the equity in it, but they had it listed for $1.6 million. Bought it for $700,000. Super pumped about it. And the highest, craziest market ever, right? And then then I bought an apartment complex for $880, fixed it for $30,000. It appraised for $1.6 million. So I made $1.5 million, $1.2 million in the last quarter of last year, the second to last quarter of last year. And it's real estate. It's doing all these other things. It's getting into it. It's actually starting. And yes, I would like your advice on NFTs because I need to learn this stuff.
Yeah, man, dude, I am so passionate about NFTs and what the future holds for them. Like, if you would have watched my videos 2 years ago about how passionate I was about social media, I was like literally at the time I was making videos. I had maybe like 2,000 YouTube subs. I had 15,000 Instagram and maybe like 100,000 TikTok at the time. And I was like, guys, like YouTube is like the best thing ever. People are going to use this in such a way that is so different. And it was already like pretty big, but I was like, it's going to get bigger. TikTok is going to get bigger. Like this social media thing and personal brand is so big. Like I can't even fathom what's going to happen because once I would call it the real entrepreneurs figure this out and they start bringing business to it, it's a wrap. And
they ruin it.
Because well, it's not even that they ruin it. It's just like, they're going to know how to harness it because everyone, like the traditional YouTuber, just makes content and that's all they know how to do. They don't really know how to run business. And then when you see a guy like Mr. Beast who knows how to make content and run business, you're like, oh my gosh, this guy's going to be a billionaire. Right?
Facts.
And that's how I saw it. I was like, I have business acumen. I know what to do. If I can just get content out there too, it's a wrap. It's over. And so I was super passionate about it 2 years ago, even with like not even proof of concept.
Yeah.
That's kind of how I feel about NFTs today. I haven't proved what I'm saying yet. I'm in development, but like I'm extremely bullish on not only like what I'm going to do, but like the industry as a whole.
Sure. I've almost said his name 3 or 4 times, but a very good friend of mine, and we actually saw him a couple days ago, but But Steve Aoki's been on my channel a few times, and he talks to me about NFTs, and I'm just like, I'm doing it. He's making me do it, and then hopefully we can figure this out as well. But like, not to say I don't know what I could or couldn't say from what Steve will tell me, but like, he makes a lot of money doing this, and I'm like, okay. He's like, look, how much ETH do you have? I'm like, this, and he's like, all right, well, we're not getting a Bored Ape with that, because I'm in crypto. I got like $100 grand in crypto. I'm still a stock guy. I got 1.5 in my stock market. I'm kind of an old soul, right?
Yeah.
And I'm trying to learn it all, and then like digital real estate and all the other things. So,
Yeah.
So I'm
I need
making
to get
this promise
Steve
right here. I'm doing it.
I need to get Steve on my NFT bandwagon, dude. You're gonna have to link us up.
Well, hey, yeah.
No, I actually read something from him the other day where he was like, I've made more money in NFTs than I have in my entire career as a musician.
Well, you have probably.
That's what he said.
From what he tells me, it's kind of, I'm like, and he's starting an NFT fund. He's doing some stuff like that with other people that just want to get in on it. Like he just likes to share it. He's helping grow it. And then plus it's Steve freaking Aoki, so he's going to push it. Like we talked about Graham's influence, Steve's influence, right? It's monstrous, right?
Yeah.
And so it's neat, and I have to get on there. But also you got another friend that does this, right? I'm calling us friends, right? We've only met each other for like an hour and a half. But Brett too.
Yeah.
You know? So between us two, I think we could probably make that work. So
Yeah, man. We'll have to make it happen, dude. Well, that's cool, man. We'll definitely figure it out on the NFT side, and I just love seeing what you're doing, man. With the real estate, with the sales, the cars, the watches. We got a lot of stuff in common, dude. I love seeing entrepreneurs on the content game and just making things happen, dude.
Enjoy it, yeah. And you can give me some TikTok pointers, since I enjoy your TikTok. Like I told you, the $300,000. It was like 3 months ago, or 4. It might be it was like 5 or 6 months ago. It was one of my favorite ones. Was like, I've seen that table a million times. I know that table. I know how they build that table. I'm like, but this is kind of cool. Right? And it was right when you said you were going to start doing more real estate stuff on there and things like that. So I'm trying to make TikTok's real estate interesting. It's hard.
Yeah, content. Look, anything's hard. You just got to choose your hard.
Right.
That's what it comes down to.
Yeah, hard as far as making it interesting. Not, it's just like, how do I make this house TikTok friendly?
This is a house.
This is a door, right?
Yeah. No, I feel you, dude. Well, man, it's been great having you on the show. For anybody who wants to follow you, where's the best place to find you?
So my YouTube channel is just my name, Grant Navarre, and got 110,000 subscribers and growing. So it's been fun.
Go follow Grant. Go subscribe. And guys, we appreciate you for watching. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Catch you on the next one. Peace. Thanks for watching The Ryan Pineda Show. If you want to work with me, head over to ryanpineda.com. You can find my courses, coaching programs, and upcoming events. We also have free resources you can download, so head over to ryanpineda.com.